Welcome into Duval Daily, presented by GenJag.com. I'm Jordan DeLugo. Thanks so much for tuning in here on Thursday, December 5th. Right now, we're talking a little Jags-Titans. I promised y'all we were going to focus more on the future, and we are. But I also told you we're still going to talk a little bit about the current games, the rest of the season going on here. Jaguars still have a handful of games left. They're taking on the Titans in Nashville this upcoming week, this Sunday. So I'm giving y'all some reasons to watch Jaguars versus Titans, other than the fact that you're obviously huge Jaguars fans if you're tuning into these shows still at this point in the season with things have going as terribly as they have here in 2024. It's a tough assignment here. There's no doubt about it, but I think I've come up with some solid reasons to have some intrigue here for Jaguars at Titans, and I'm going to share them with you. So really appreciate y'all tuning in. If you enjoy the content here, please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know why you are watching Jaguars versus Titans in the comment section below. So number one for me, not Trevor Lawrence, because he's not going to be playing, not going to be out there the rest of the year. Brian Thomas Jr. and Calvin Ridley will share the same field. No, they will not be on the field at the same time, in all likelihood, unless something has gone terribly wrong somehow. But Brian Thomas Jr., Jaguars first-round pick, wide receiver, the only reason he is a Jacksonville Jaguar right now is because the Jaguars fumbled at the goal line trying to sign Calvin Ridley. Now look, Jags fans, there's no reason not to be happy about kind of how that transpired, because Brian Thomas Jr. now appears to be someone you can really build around and build a strong relationship with on the field. Trevor Lawrence and Brian Thomas Jr. moving forward. You've already seen some tremendous strides in his game, and I think that he's more physically gifted than Calvin Ridley. I think he has a higher upside. I think that Brian Thomas Jr., he's a gift. He is one of the young pillars of this franchise that fans can get excited about and that this team can build around. And so it'll be interesting to see Calvin Ridley, who did not have a great year in Jacksonville, spent one season here after his suspension. The Jags traded for him at the trade deadline in 2022 to get his rights for 2023. It was an up and down year, right? Like, there was some big time performances. There was some fantastic catches, some plays made by Calvin. There was also a lot of disappointment. I mean, he's one of the reasons the Jaguars lost to the Titans in week 18 last year and did not make the playoffs, right? So that's an intriguing storyline, just to see both of those players on the field in the same game. And Calvin Ridley obviously said, this one's been circled on his calendar. And, for Brian Thomas Jr., I don't think there's as much in terms of, circling this game on his calendar. But obviously he's trying to go out there and prove every week and show that he is a number one receiver in this league and keep getting better and better and better. I think he has been doing that for the most part. Two, Arden Key, the man who single-handedly restored the culture in Jacksonville. In all seriousness, no, Arden Key, such an interesting situation. The Titans did not have to pay very much money to acquire Arden Key. And I know he hasn't been a Pro Bowl caliber player since leaving Jacksonville. He wasn't a Pro Bowl caliber player in Jacksonville. But what he represents is something that the Jaguars have severely been lacking since he left. And that is another rusher, a complementary rusher beyond Trayvon and Josh. And they just haven't had that. And the Titans now do have that. And the Jaguars should have paid him. I absolutely think they should have. And so you're going to get to see Arden Key against Walker Little, Anton Harrison. Hopefully the Jaguars tackles are able to get the better of Arden Key. But you look at that and it represents a missed opportunity, right? And it represents a misstep by Trent Baalke. And to an extent, so does the Calvin Ridley situation, because even though I think it's good for the Jaguars and good for Jaguars fans that they weren't able to get the deal done with Calvin Ridley, Trent Baalke wanted to get the deal done with Calvin Ridley. He was trying to, right? A lot of times it's the process with Trent Baalke that I don't understand more than the results. And so those two situations clearly represent that. And then, you have the fact that, in my strong opinion, this is the most bitter rivalry in the AFC South. Look, these two teams have been playing each other since long before the AFC South came around, right? They've been playing each other since the Jaguars became a team, since the Jaguars started playing football games in 1995. And the 90s was the most heated era of this rivalry, but it has stayed strong. It has stayed a strong rivalry throughout the history of the Jaguars. The Jaguars' strongest rival, without question, in my opinion. Now, the Houston Texans are trying to challenge that a little bit here lately, but this is the most bitter and longest standing rivalry in this division. And I still think that the Titans are the Jaguars' arch nemesis, despite Azeez Al-Shaair trying to put on his villain cape right now, right? This is a team that in 2023, the Titans eliminated the Jaguars from making the playoffs. In 2022, the Jaguars did the same things to the Titans. And, just take it back to 99. I don't even need to go there. If you do not remember 1999, just look it up. Jaguars, they were 14-3. Do you remember who they lost those 3 games to? Yeah. So to me, this is the most bitter rivalry in the AFC South, and it's always interesting when these two teams take each other on, in my opinion. Neither team is very good, and that leads to my next point, Tank Watch. Tank Watch is in full effect, y'all. You got to be checking Tankathon all the time. But look, the Jacksonville Jaguars hold the first overall pick right now. They're 2-10. The Tennessee Titans are 3-9. Now, if the Jaguars were to beat the Titans in this game and both teams were 3-10, the Jaguars would still hold a higher pick than the Titans because of the strength of schedule situation. But if the Jaguars win this game, you've also got the Las Vegas Raiders and the New York Giants, who are 2-10 along with the Jaguars. And the Patriots, who are 3-10. The Jaguars, if they win this game, they're going to be moving down the draft pecking order quite a bit, at least for the week. I don't see the Raiders and Giants and Patriots all winning games. And now I will tell you this. Vegas and New York, they have a stronger strength of schedule than the Jaguars. So if the Jaguars finish with the same record as the Raiders and the Giants, the Jaguars would have a better pick than them in round 1. Same thing with the Titans, right? But the Patriots have a weaker strength of schedule than the Jaguars. And so if the Jaguars and the Patriots have the same record, Patriots will be picking in front of the Jaguars. Just something to keep in mind, right? A few other things, can Doug Peterson keep this team bought in? I think he has for the most part. Like, they've played hard. They've played to the end of most games. Obviously, there's been a few where they completely just got boat raced from the start. But, no Trevor Lawrence. There's no hope that he can come back this year. Can he keep the team bought in? And John Shipley wrote a really good article over on Jaguar Report you should go check out, talking about, can Doug Peterson save his job? And one way that Doug can maybe show Shad Khan that he does deserve another shot is winning some games in these circumstances and showing a team that A, will not quit, and B, can win some games in these circumstances. Do I think he should have any chance of keeping his job? Look, I respect the heck out of the man. I think that there are some positives he brings to the table as a football coach as well. But no, I think the results speak for themselves. You can't be as poor as you have over the last calendar year plus with the amount of resources and with the quarterback and all that stuff as the Jaguars have been. So Doug Peterson, I don't think he can save his job. But I don't make that decision. Shad Khan does. So we'll see. We'll see. Can Doug Peterson keep these guys going? And, can Mac Jones, Parker Washington, Brian Thomas Jr. kind of keep things interesting on offense? The Titans are dealing with some injuries on the defensive side of the ball. Mac Jones, Parker Washington, Brian Thomas Jr., these guys in the second half last week, they kind of kept the Jaguars in it. And obviously the offensive line did as well in pass protection. Can they continue to do a good job in pass pro? Walker Little with his fresh new deal, can he continue to play well? Anton Harrison doing a good job. Everybody's doing a pretty good job in pass pro. The other question is, though, can the Jaguars find a ground game at all? Like, I don't think that the offensive line has done a good job run blocking. I think part of that is Brandon Sheriff is still struggling as a run blocker. I think part of that is coaching. If you could get Travis and Tank going a little bit, that would help out in a big, big way. There's no question about that. And then my final point here is Denard Wilson, the Tennessee Titans defensive coordinator. He could be a head coach very soon. I mean, this is the type of guy that he could get head coaching interviews, maybe even with the Jaguars this upcoming year. And he runs a type of defense that's aggressive, it's multiple, it's adaptable. It's a Mike McDonald brand defense, Baltimore Ravens brand defense, and they're all over the NFL now. Seattle, Michigan defensive coordinator Jesse Minter is now in LA, Miami, obviously Baltimore as well. So there's a chance Denard Wilson could be interviewing for a job here next year, right? So that's another reason to kind of keep an eye on his defense. Watch how they execute. Watch how they play. They send a lot at you. They complicate things. In the modern NFL, so many of these defenses that are doing a good job, offenses are so multiple that defenses need to be the same way, and they need to be able to adjust on the fly in a moment's notice. And I think that the Ravens coaching tree, guys that have worked with McDonald are kind of cut from that cloth. So it'll be interesting to see. Maybe a future Jaguars head coach on the Tennessee Titans sideline. You never know. I know a lot of folks want it to be an offensive mind. Ben Johnson, I wouldn't complain about that one bit, but I think Denard Wilson's going to get head coaching jobs sooner rather than later, at least interviews. But that'll do it. Really hope you guys enjoy the content. I'm doing my best out here to try to keep these things interesting when talking about some of these games. Again, let me know why you're watching this game in the comment section below. If you enjoy the content here, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Y'all have a good one.